Hey, well, sure. So I was actually creating a video on a 401k breakdown by age, and then I realized that a lot of people don't even really understand what do their paychecks look like when it comes down to the math. And I will say that I'm creating this video for those who want to know, but they don't know how to do the calculations. So I'm going to share my sheet in a minute that I created for this video, but I really wanted to talk about the 401k and the importance of it. So at some point, and this is going to be part one, I will create a video for what that looks like in terms of where you are in your age, based on your salary and you maxing out on your 401k. But right now we're going to look at percentages tied to your paycheck, but also breaking down what does that look like for someone who gets paid every 2 weeks. Now, I want to say that you all who are struggling with finances, I'm going to show you what it looks like in Excel. I can geek out on Excel. I can really find myself lost in numbers. I am a numbers person by nature. Love analysts, analyzing different situations and creating analysis to really understand how to find the different equations that will help me do better, make better decisions. So, for those who have been following me and know I've been talking about budgets for the past 4 years, I actually have taught people how to get out of debt using budgets, and Excel is actually the way that I did it myself, paying off, creating strategies to pay off over $100,000. Did that in about 14 months, based on discipline, sacrifice, delayed gratification, and actually wanted to beat the projections of what I was told. I was told I was only going to be able to do that in about 5 months. And I proved that that theory does not exist if you believe something else. So the power of words go beyond just, change in our personalities and wanting to become a better version, but it also goes into financial management, and education, educating ourselves in being able to understand that we can control where our money goes once you can actually see it. So I wanted to take this time to look at the equation of someone who would get a 3% raise every year and what 10% of their income looks like over that time. And then we can talk about what that means. And actually, I'm just going to allow God to guide me on this conversation. That way, I'm given what you need to hear. This video is dedicated to the person who wants more in their life and actually want to be able to be educated in how to take control of their money so their money does not control them. And as you all know, I'm the wealth sharer, Terry Black. I share wealth so you can build wealth. So we're going to dive into numbers together. So I'm God is teaching me not to worry about perfection. So this is going to be me transparent. We're going to be diving into some numbers. I'm don't even know where this is going to go exactly because God actually had me to shift in some calculations that I actually pulled up on through some research, and I could not wrap my head around one of the numbers that populated in a calculator that I used online, and I just did not want to give you all the wrong information. It just did not sit well with me in the way they calculate it. And I used another data analysis to arrive to some numbers. And then I was just like, this sounds a little bit better, but the scenarios it was using, I need to dive into what it looks like at a 10% contribution versus someone who's maxing it out. Wanted to show if someone is really dedicated to living below their means, that they actually have the ability to max out on their 401k to get the highest return to become an automatic millionaire. And that's what God is teaching me. That was what God is having me to teach you. As God shares with me, I share with you. Maybe not as, but I try to, as much as possible, be able to create a space for those who really want to know how to do better, but they don't have anyone to show them how to do better. So I am that person for you. If you need more information, feel free to drop it in the comments. I love data analysis. I thrive in the space. I'm a math person all the way, going all the way back to like 6 years old. I remember being in third grade coming in this country. I came in this country in first grade. I only spent like 2 months. But in from being 6 years old, even five, I'll say six, I knew multiplication, division coming from Barbados. We are advanced in education. So when I was in third grade, I was that student that was raising my hand all the time because I knew the answers, because I knew my multiplication table. I knew division, and I was that person. So I've always been, I will say, a math whiz. I'm also a process improver, and I'm also a master strategist. So when it comes to the wealth share business, I'm helping people get on the path to where God wants them to be. And I'm helping them improve the processes in their life, not just on a financial state, but also on a mental plane as well. So that way someone can be, it's cumbersome, right? Someone can truly embody the better version of themselves, not just on a healthy, not just, healthy plane, not just, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to self, and also when it comes to finances. So God has led me in a way to be able to come full circle on what life means. There are many categories in our life, and we're not to just give God one or two. We give everything to God. So that's why I said I'm going to let God um, speak to me on what needs to happen in this video and show up as my authentic self. That is, my authentic self is God first. Everything I do is God first, even when it comes to my finances. And I'm teaching you so you don't have to make the mistakes that I had to make, which is why you should always find a mentor, a coach, someone who's already experienced the things that you want to do, so you can, in a way, take a shortcut, but they're still teaching you what you need to do so you can do it on your own, and at some point be able to spread your wings and fly. So, okay, let's get into the numbers. All right. Before the numbers, okay, I'm going to talk more about 401k. And this really also is really about retirement planning and being able to be in a space where you are not wanting for money, you're not feeling inadequate in your financial state, and you also you're not in a state of lack, and you in the now, your version today is protecting your future version. Your self now is creating strategies to be in financial health for your future. So I really am excited about this because, like I said, I don't know where God is going to take this, but I go where God goes, and this is going to be an amazing video. So I'm super excited. Make sure that you like this video, you share it with a friend, drop a comment, and that way I can know that you're not only engaged, but there's things that's coming to you. Do not be shy. This is a very welcoming community. We are all here trying to do better. There is no judgment, because trust me, I've made lots of financial mistakes from the time I got my first credit card at 18, okay? And maybe that's a story for another day, but I'll just tell a little bit of it. At 18, I did not understand what paying money back meant when you got a credit card, and I did not understand it. So I incurred debt at 18, 19, 20. My mom had to help me get out of it. And I used to get bills and stack them away and just ignore it. So I don't want you to do that. Just know that when it comes to financial health, you are not buying things just for the immediate gratification, because those things don't mean anything. But what means more is you having to pay that money back. And I don't want debt to control your life, because you have to pay it back. And people don't think about that impact. They don't think about if they lose their job, they don't think about if they have enough savings, what are other things that are more important, which is why God has me in this space right now in the season of talking about 401k retirement planning, because God does not want you to struggle because the now version of yourself, have the resources that our parents did not have to be able to do better. And we are to do better, not negating from our parents, trying to do their best, but because we are in a space where retirement plans, investments, and real estate is more accessible for many. And I don't want you to think I can't have it, because you can. You just have to learn the strategies to put yourself in a better situation. And most of that strategy, if not all of it, comes from how you handle your money and how you budget. So be sure to check out my other videos when it comes to budgeting. I gave you some expenses and what that means for your biweekly paychecks, your take-home pay, because it's most important that you really understand that. So jumping into this, just remember, this is God wanting you to have financial health. So anything I could do, I will be more than happy to do so. Alrighty. So we are going to be looking at someone, and I'm salary, take home pay. Okay. So I'm going to use this as salary. And the reason why it's salary is because this percentage is pre-tax, and this is your pre-tax 10% for a contribution. Okay. Okay. So that's what this is. So I may or may not, let's just see, because I'm going to need to add some cells. So I'm going to, all right, y'all. So y'all, we doing this together. Okay. All right. So that's what this is. Okay. This is going to be a salary, but I do want to say your salary is going to, your salary is your salary, whatever your employer pays you, but that does not mean what you bring home. So your bring home pay will differ by person, which is why we're going to look at salaries, because everyone's situation varies. When you look at your, I'm going to type it in and then we'll go ahead and delete it. When you look at your net, which is your take home pay, that is going to be minus your taxes. That's going to be minus your benefits. And that's going to be minus your 401k. Okay. So I want to think, so your benefits is also your medical, dental. So this is going to be your medical, dental, eye. Okay. And also for those who have life insurance, just thinking of all the things that you will have coming out your paycheck, your life insurance, what else we have coming out? So your 401k, your benefits, your if you have a 401k loan, that's also something. And then what else? Life insurance. I just did my enrollment, so I'm just thinking back about like the things that I chose. So the life insurance can be for yourself, for your spouse, your children. There's different ways. Then you have your short-term disability, your long-term disability, and also your HSA. That's if you have medical. So if you have medical, you also have your HSA, which you're, guess it's changing it for me. HSA. Don't change it. All right. So your HSA is your health savings account. Okay, so make sure you guys are taking notes. Health savings account, and the money in your health savings account, a lot of people don't know this. If whatever you don't use, it rolls over. And when you retire, it's all yours tax free. So this is also another way here that you can um, build wealth. Okay, you can build wealth through your 401k, your health savings account, a Roth IRA, of course, investing in the stock market, real estate, and so forth. But when it comes to your employer, your HSA is a way that you could build wealth. So let's just say if you max out on your health savings account, every single year you do that, you don't really go to the doctor that often, so you don't really have to, spend that money. It rolls over every year. You can also, okay, God, thank you for that. You can also contribute or allocate some of the money in your health savings account into the market. So if you go over, I think $2,000 is roughly how much you need to have in your health savings account, you can actually invest that money into the stock market or through a fund, and your money can increase that way. A lot of people do not know that. Okay, so sharing the wealth so you can build wealth. All right, so exciting. All right, so this person is making $65,000 at 25. Oh, actually, I'm going to do something because I just realized that they're starting off at 65,000. And then this line, all right, I'll take this off, but that other line is not true. So that means that everything over here has to come up one. I told y'all we're gonna be doing this together because if you were doing this on your own, you'd be doing the same thing. No. All right, hold on. Delete up. Okay. I'm like, I know how to use Excel now. Don't blame me. It's all don't be playing me in front of these people. Okay. All right. So someone at 25 making $65,000. Now here's the thing. It's very much possible. So um know that a 25-year-old can make $65,000. Okay, so 10% of their paycheck is going towards their 401k, and this is all pre-tax. So this is not even considering what their employer is actually putting towards matching. So in 401k plans, it is a retirement fund that companies use now more instead of pensions. Now, there may be some companies out there that still do pensions, but let's just say a lot more companies have moved away from pensions, which is a guaranteed amount of money that they get vested in if they stay over, I think 5 years is the vested average for companies. And then they get salaries based on how much they make with that company. A portion of their salaries at retirement, and they get that guaranteed year after year. In addition, they also get Social Security. In addition, they can also contribute to their 401k. So a person like that can end up with making $90,000, $100,000, $150,000, depending on where they are with their company and how much they've contributed towards their pension, including Social Security, including 401k. They can be someone who do not have to worry about money. And that's what we're trying to get you all. We're trying to get you all to not have to worry about money. All right. Money does not control you in your thoughts, in your actions. You have abundance. You do not have to worry about money. God has you. You're already part of God's prosperity plan, but just know that God also requires you to do your part. And this is you learning how to manage your money, how to manage your wealth, okay? How to build wealth. Okay. So someone who has a salary of 65. So what I did here is this is going to be their annual increase. And for those who, hold on, Excel, don't leave what's happening in Excel? Okay. All right, this is going to be their annual increase. All right, so when it comes to the person working $65,000 a year, and they stay, let's just say they're staying at one job, or they change jobs and just happen to we're going to use a scenario where they're staying at one job, because most likely if people change jobs, they're getting more than a 3% increase. I hope so. Do not leave a company for just 3%. I'm just saying. So they're with one organization for throughout, this is from about 20 years, right? 27 years. Um, so they are, sorry, like 43 years. My bad on that. 43 years. So we have someone who is making $65,000, and when they get 67 years old, they're going to make $224,000, and that's 3% year over year. Most companies average at 3%. Some give 4%. You see that number change. Some might give 5% increase year after year. We'll see that percentage means a lot. Now, for those who are not familiar with math, when it comes to percentages, know that a 10% increase, or sorry, a 5% increase for someone making $65,000 is very much different than someone making $100,000. Okay. That person will be close to $800,000 at 67. So just keep that in mind as well. So let's go back to 65. Okay, so every year you're going to contribute 10% of your paycheck going towards your 401k. Now, I'm just using this as a projection, but just know that when someone gets to, let's just say in this year, 2024, my goodness, why did I even pause? 2024, the max they can contribute towards their 401k is 24,000, and at 50, it's 30,000. So when I get 50, let's just say around here, this will always be 30,000. I want to say that's the number. Hold on, because I had it for y'all. Let's see. Contribution. So in 2024, if you're 50 years or older, you can contribute up to additional $7,500, which will bring you to about 30,500. So let's just say at 60, this will always be 3,500. Now, here's the thing. I say that, but that's only based on 2024. Historically, we have, I want to say back in 2019, the maximum contribution was $19,000. So every single year that contribution amount changes. So um, there is a really good chance that this person is actually on par to how they're going in their increases. And this is the government that's making that. So just know that there is a maximum for 2024 right now. So the maximum contribution is 23, let's see, it's $23,000. And then for next year, let's do it this way. Because, all right, so we're going to do that. Stop, stop, stop. All right, we can put you here. Okay, I don't like these cells. All right, I'll put it over here because I can be a little funny when it comes to, so 2024. So 2019, it's about 1,900. Right now, it's at 2,300. And then we have 2025, 25 is at going to be 23,500. You can look on the internet. It's already out there for everyone to know. So just remember that you can Google any information I'm sharing with you. Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna take this away. All right, so we have here. So just know that this is based on, let's go back to 3%, a 3% annual raise. And then the 10% is based on someone who is given 10%. Now, there is something I want to make sure that you understand. Your organization is going to contribute up to um, a certain amount every year. So if we look at the average 401k contribution by employer, it's going to vary, but we have some companies that are given 4.6%, some are 4.5, some are 3%. We have, yeah, so the average, some people match at 5.5. Look at that. Hooray for them. So just know that your employer at time, well, if your employer is giving you a 401k, more than likely there are matching dollar to dollar up to a certain percent. So like you can contribute 10%, they can actually match dollar for dollar or cents on a dollar up to a certain percentage. So we know now the average is between 3 and 5% that companies can contribute. That's their way of, instead of doing a pension, giving you dollars towards your 401k to help you be able to retire in a comfortable state. But know that it does not stop there. So many people hear about, oh, just match what your company's doing. Don't do that. Okay, I promise you, if you do that, you're going to short yourself. You're going to short yourself becoming an automatic millionaire because that means that you are not even maxing out your the 20 this number right here, this 23. You want to get as close as possible to 23. So that means that you may have to cut back in terms of, expenses and look at your budget to say, do I really need that subscription? Do I really need to buy clothes right now? Or can I just reuse what I have? Know that people want something new, but do you really need it? Okay. Are you willing to sacrifice in the now so you can have better in the future? That is the one thing I told you guys already that my husband and I did. We actually, scaled back. We did not go out. We didn't travel. Oh my gosh. If y'all know me, y'all know I like to travel. We've been around the world. We are travelers. And that was a time period where we had to scale back on our travel because traveling can cost, 1,000 plus, depending on where you're going, hotel, food, transportation. So just know that, again, you may have to put off a trip that's coming up. Let God tell you yes or no. Okay. Because God has told me no on some trips. Okay. So let God tell you yes and no. And there's a reason why God tells us no, because God knows what will happen before we do. And sometimes there are times where God is telling us no to help us be able to be in a better position. So let's try not to be like toddlers and whine about it and say, God, why not? Go ahead and just say, okay, God, because you know best. I tell you this because I've worked on that. Okay, God, you know best. God, I trust you is what I say. So trust God about everything, not just money and relationships and things you're seeking. Okay. So that is what I want you all to understand as well. All right. I feel like I need to do, hold on. Told you I'll be doing this. Okay. I wasn't sure if, I hope, okay. I moved my mic, but hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear, regardless of. All right. So, okay, where we're at. Okay. So this is so I what I wanted to do was I wanted to break some things down for you all so you can see what this looks like. Now, this was all from me actually wanting to create scenarios based on someone being 25, someone 35, 45, and 55 because I wanted you guys to see what that looks like. Now, I had initially thought about starting them all off at $65,000, but I was like, let me just keep it the same. Someone making $90,000 at 35, under 20 at 45. So I just kind of want to use based on their age and experience that they may not be making $65,000. So I just want to be a little bit more realistic. So what does this 10% contribution mean by paycheck because this is annual, okay? So this is your annual. Make sure I put this up in here. All right, all right, annual 401k contribution. So we're going to do this on a bi-weekly cadence. Okay, paycheck. Okay, so if we look at this bi-weekly, that means that, I'm gonna put this over here just so you guys can see. I think it's, I don't want to hide stuff. So this 10% is your contribution. Okay, and then we're gonna do 26. Ooh, that's not gonna be a percentage. I feel like something is not happening the way it should. Because I'm like, why is my stuff hidden? All right, so we're gonna do what is happening? All right, 26. I don't know why my stuff is grayed out. You know why? Because I'm on YouTube. That's why my Excel's trying to play me, but we gonna keep rolling. All right, we gonna keep rolling. So 26 is the number of bi-weekly paychecks. Okay. Um, I did something. Okay. And I don't know why it's showing. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Phew. Okay, so 26. So this is going to be your contribution divided by 26. So this is going to be how much is going to come out your paycheck every 2 weeks. Okay. Oh, Terry. All right. All right, we have this. All right, so for those who are not like really great in Excel, I'm gonna teach y'all some stuff. All right, so if you make it absolute, which is the dollar sign before the C and before the number. That means that this cell does not shift. So as I dragged it down, no matter what cell I click on, it will all point to the 26 weeks. But as you can see, that this keeps moving. So absolute means that you are keeping the cell stagnant. And when it is not an absolute value, or the formula, it just means that it will move when you move. Move when I move. Okay. Sorry, I heard ludicrous in my head. All right. So every 2 weeks, the person making $65,000, that's 25 years old, they are contributing $250 towards their 401k every 2 weeks. And at the end of the year, they would have put in $6,500. So let's just do a couple more scenarios. So let's just say, and before I do that, I'm gonna show you when they're now making 224,000, they'll be contributing $865 every time they get paid. Okay. And this is all based on their 10% of what their salary is. Remember that number could change over time, but we might run through some scenarios towards the end. All right, so let's just say their employer. So we're gonna enter, all right, so employer contribution is at 5%. Okay, so we're going to take this, put it over here. We're going to move this there, move, boom, and bow. Okay, so their employer is going to contribute $3,200. All right. Okay, let me make sure I have yep. As you can see here, my formula is absolute. So C3, it will stay stagnant. C3, C3, which is right here. It shows you right here too. C3 is going to be 5%. And then I'm going to, what? Okay. All right. Excel, you want me to do things manually? Okay. All right. So they're going to contribute 5%. And then we're going to do the same thing. So this is going to be your employer contribution of 5%. And then we're going to do the same thing we did here. for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this, here we go, here. All right, so check my formula. So this is 26 weeks, okay? So every 2 weeks, they're going to contribute this amount. So your total contribution towards your 401k, we're going to do a formula, and that's just a quick, super easy. Your biweekly paycheck plus your employer contributions. So this is your employer contribution. All right. And that, so you have this plus this. So every 2 weeks, you have this amount going towards your 401k. Okay. Now, so you're at the end of the year. So I'm trying to think, do I want to go that way? Okay, I'm going to go to the next sheet. So I hope this all makes sense. We can do this for every single age group, but it's pretty much going to be the same thing because remember, this 95, this 35, ooh, this 35 needs to be this. Okay. And this needs to be, yep, 45. Okay. So this, it's the same situation no matter what age you are. So you could be, wherever you are, just know that this is the formula. The formula is what it is. The numbers don't change. So again, this is all based on your salary before any of your other deductions come out. Your 401k contribution is pre-tax, so it looks at your salary, then it looks at that percentage, it takes away from there, and then everything else comes out. Your taxes, your benefits, your life insurance, in your what's that called? Short-term, long-term disability. Okay. All right. So let's go here. All right. So this is a scenario that I created for you all, put it here for you all to see what does that look like in terms of your 401k contributions. So someone who is 25 is making this contribution every single year, and when they get 65, they will essentially have about $10 million in their retirement account if they are consistent. Let's just say if they stayed at the same employer for all these years, one employer, and just know that you can roll over your 401k if you change companies. Do not take that money and do not keep that money because one, you pay taxes on that money. If you take it out, your 401, if you take out anything from your 401k, it now becomes taxable. Anything that is pre-tax will only be pre-tax over a certain age. And then two, you're also shortening yourself on getting this $10 million or 5 million or 7 million, whatever millions it is, just know that you can be in a good place. And just know that it's never too late to start. I do want to say that. So I rather you know this information in the now so you can truly create a better space for yourself in the future. Don't forget, current self can protect your future self. And that's just not with money. That's with anything. That's with relationships, wise decisions, being smart about what God is telling you. Don't be ignoring God because it will not ever work out for you because God does tell you things to do on purpose. God is a very intentional God. Everything God does, there is a reason behind it. Everything you experience, there's a reason behind it. And if you don't listen, you will be in consequence and you have no one to blame but yourself. And that's just the truth. But also, there's responsibility there. And in that responsibility, you are now taking I don't use that word. Okay, I'll just say taking accountability. That is the word I'm looking for yourself, your actions, and just know that when it comes to finances, people make mistakes all the time. Just now that you know better, do your best not to make mistakes. When God tells you don't spend, don't spend. It's not even worth it. Trust and believe. A lot of times people buy things, interest accrue on it, whether it's credit cards, whatever it is, and it's buying things that are not growing and it's not yielding any return. So if someone is buying, let's just say clothes those clothes start to wear out, they start to devalue. And it's just like buying a car, right? Most cars, there are some cars that go up in value, but for the majority of cars, once you buy a brand new car and you roll off that lot, that car is now worth thousands of dollars less. Okay. If you didn't know that, your girl Terry told you. Okay. So just know that you are to put your money in places and spaces that will go up in value, creating assets for yourself and your family. And just know that this $10 million ain't for you. And don't be one of them people who be like, I can't take it in the ground with me. Okay. This is a nest egg, not just for you, but for your family. Why, if you have the opportunity, set your family up to struggle when you and God has placed you as their person to help them build wealth? And yes, I said it. God has placed you as that person to help them build wealth. And even though you may not be able to see it now, just know that if you follow God's plan and you budget and you allocate correctly and you allow God to tell you what to do with your finances, I guarantee you, if you follow through, because don't be quoting me, don't quote the whole thing. I said, if you follow through on God's plan, your prosperity will come. Okay? So quote the whole thing. The key word was follow through. Obey, follow through, listen. Because everybody can hear, but I don't mean they do. Okay? So when you are looking at this person who is 25 years old, who started with $6,500 in their 401k account, and now they're seeing a 7% return, 10% return, 13%, right? These returns is the difference between the balance, what they're contributing and what the market's doing. Just know that this balance can become multi-million. And here's the thing, why not try it? Why not, why not try the theory? I'd rather try than not try and say that I wish I did. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, okay? We gonna have a moment, okay? We gonna bring it in, okay? We gonna bring it in. I want y'all to know that I don't want y'all to be in regret because I find myself in consequences and then I be like, God, I should listen to you. So don't be like old Terry, okay? Be like new Terry who's listening. Because just because you can hear don't mean that you are actually listening to God. You see that connection there? You see what I did? So I want you to know that you have the ability to um do be the best version of yourself. Okay. So I hope this lesson on what that 401k contribution looks like per paycheck. And I hope it makes sense running through the numbers with you all. But I also hope, God, you remember the things that God was telling you in this conversation, the things that the whispers you were hearing, the thoughts God was giving you about how to do better, how to show up better for yourself and your family. Just know that God is not having you build wealth for yourself. Your wealth is for other people to be able to be a blessing, to serve others. God is not ever going to do something just for you. And I say that meaning, let me clarify that, God. Let me clarify that. And I said it right. I just want to make sure someone understands. God is going to bless you, but God is also going to bless you so you can be a blessing for other people. Okay. So if God tells you something about changing you, it's not just about you. He's changing you so you can be better with others. There is a vertical and horizontal relationship. When God does for us, God is also making sure others are impacted in a positive way. And if you don't listen, your consequences means that you're disobedient to God and you're impacting others in a negative space. So just know that you are part of the equation. You may not know it, but you know it today. All right. So I pray that this is everything that you needed to understand about the 401k paycheck allocation, how that looks like. This is all before everything else comes out your paycheck. But just know that you start with 10%, increase it every year. or every month until you can get to that max out period. But as you are increasing it, also look to your budget to see what you don't need to be spending money on. Do you really need to have 5 subscriptions for streaming services? Okay. How often are you actually watching TV? Should you be actually working on that business God told you instead of watching TV? That was me. Okay. God told me that back in 2017. Terry, those people already paid. Work on your business. God was fearful about starting my wealth share business, but now God has blessed me and blessed the people who have I have helped, and that makes me feel good. And I want to be able to be a blessing to others. Okay. And then two, when it comes to you, um, your budget, are you paying thousands of dollars in a year to stay connected to the internet? And here is why I can say this, because that was my process of elimination when it came to, being with the big names like Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile. People always say, "Oh, I want to have good service." Yeah, I changed my service back in 2019. I was so scared to do it, but my family and I, like I'll just say for my plan is typically about $330 or 340 a year. I said that. Yep. There's people paying $300 a month, okay, or $150 a month. Now and that's the process I had to go through. When I actually took out my calculator, I was like, all right, we are spending 150 every month for a cell phone. So 150, all right, times 12 months, that was $1,800 a year. The question I know God had me to think about was it worth being connected to data just to be on Instagram and Facebook to say that just because I don't want to miss out on information? You ain't missing out on nothing. If it's not helping you grow and helping you do better and helping you become a better version of yourself, it's a waste of time. And that's what it is. Yes, sometimes we take some downtime, but if you are finding yourself paying $1,800 or more, even if it's a little bit less for one cell phone plan or two cell phone plans, okay, this $1,800 can be going towards your retirement. This $1,800 can be going towards stocks. It can be going towards something that will increase your cash flow. So that's just a nugget for you to kind of chew on, okay? All right, y'all. I will catch y'all on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. And I love you all. And I pray that you will hear God's voice. I pray that you will allow God to guide you. And I pray that you will trust God. Because a lot of people say they trust God until God tells them to do something and they don't do it. And therefore, they do not trust God. So I pray that you understand what that heart space looks like so you can become a child of God that God can say you have done extremely well. Bye.